Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale. And as usual, I am your host, Larry Cox, and it's great to have each and every one of you on the show tonight. So let me start off by saying hello to some people, but I'd like you guys to say to share and like the show so we can grow the audience, so that the folks of Rockdale County can find out some things that have went on here in the past few weeks, things they may not know, and we can share some information with them. So let's get started. Tina Hobbs, good evening. Judy Bonds, hello. Lisa Lancaster, like to have you. Ethel Bland, great to have you on the show. Charlotte Gellert, great to see you. Mary Boysworth, great to see you on the show, Mary. William Campbell, great to have you here on the show, William. Let's see here. Somebody else has just said hello to the show. Lee Wright, welcome to the show, Lee. Uh, Guys, it is great for each and every one of you to be here. And some of you are sharing the show already. I see that. Thank you for doing that. And I appreciate you sharing the show so we can build this audience and we can let people know what's going on here in Rockdale County. So it's great to be able to do that. Last week, as you guys know, I was not here. I was out of town. I was I was in Virginia Beach. It was great to get out of town for a minute. It was great to do a little bit of relaxation. I enjoyed the beach, enjoyed the sunrises. Um, it was just a good time had. So I needed that little break, but it was also good to get back here in good old Rockdale County, my home. It was good to be back here. It was good to see a bunch of you yesterday. I went to some meetings yesterday. It was nice to see a bunch of you out there. I went to the town hall that was sponsored by the 8 homeowners associations here in Rockdale County, and it was at the library. Uh, Michael Grubbs, hey brother, great to see you showing look on the show tonight. Uh, but it was good to actually be out in the community yesterday and see the concern that people had as we were out there in the fray of things. The town hall yesterday was really good. Tammy Schuler, you did a great job putting that on. We appreciate that, what you did, and it was excellent. Just to let you guys know, here in the next few weeks, the Rockdale Voter Group, we're going to be putting a town hall on also. We like that library venue, so we're going to be using that library. We're going to reserve that. Ken's already checked into that. But we're not going to do it just on 741. What we're going to do is we're going to do a general town hall, and it's not going to be, if you want to ask some questions, you can ask questions. General comments are going to be recommended because what we want to do is find out what your concerns are with the county. You can come out, make a little statement, say what you feel is going on, because we want to give you a voice and we want you to be able to say what's going on in your part of the woods here in Rockdale and what your concerns are. So that's what we're going to do here in a couple of weeks. In a few 2 to 3 weeks, the Rockdale Voter is going to be doing a town hall so that we can get the input of the city. Now we'll talk about 741, of course, but it's not going to be the only topic of discussion. So we're going to talk about 741. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about the Board of Education. We're going to talk about housing prices. We're going to talk about a lot of different things here in a couple of weeks because we want to expand what you can talk about and what's going on so that you can ask questions about what, and we can find out things you want to know. We can ask different things of your government officials and see what's going on. There was an excellent point made yesterday. You know, we don't talk about the city enough and what the city's doing or not doing, or what the city's doing that's messing up the county, messing up everything for everybody else. So I think it's I think that's something we need to do. Exactly, we need to do those things. There's going to be nothing off the table. There'll be nothing that's off limits. Everything is on limits because if you guys know me, I'm a First Amendment guy. I believe you have the right to speak and talk about anything you want. There could be consequences of what you speak about, but you've got the right to talk about it. So that's the way I see it. So I do want to start the show off, talk about the town hall yesterday. I think it was a productive town hall personally. I think at the end of the meeting, we actually got the representatives that were there I mean, the way I interpreted it yesterday, they agreed moving forward to maybe work on a limited version of 741. I think they both all understood they were not going to replace 741, but just amend 741 and maybe scale 741 down. What I would like to see them do is just work on the expansion of the board. And I'll tell you why I think in a minute, just working on the expansion of the board will eventually lead to everything that we wanted out of the whole bill 741. So I like we went through a lot of dialogue yesterday, a lot of discussion. I think that the House members got real with each other. There was some calling out. I mean, I think Angela Moore, just point blank said, you might see it appears that we're talking about this up here, but we're not talking about it, and we need to talk about it. And we got the three to commit that were there. And it's all it takes is three. If those three will commit and actually work behind the scenes and make something happen, then it happens. Very disappointed that Deshaun Kendrick is checked out and not participating. She's the representative that said that she couldn't vote on 741 last year because she didn't know enough about it. She was new back to Rockdale County. There have been many town halls now and many opportunities for Representative Kendrick to come to Rockdale County to engage with constituents and find out what's going on, and she's failed to do that. I think we're going to do a little letter writing campaign to Representative Kendrick. I think we're actually going to do a little checking out of Deshaun Kendrick, find out what makes her tick behind the scenes and what's up with her, because, we need to find out about her. Why doesn't she care about Rockdale County? And why doesn't she engage? So I think, we need to do a little deep diving and find out what makes Deshaun Kendrick tick and why she doesn't care. And that's a valid statement to make. Because if she did care, her behind would be in a seat in Rockdale County. And at the next town hall that we have at the Rockdale Voter, elected officials, if they attend, will be in the seats just like you. We're not going to have them up front, whatever. Ken and I will moderate the event, and it's going to be really your event in Rockdale County for you to voice your concerns and your opinions. Now, we're going to limit it. We're not going to let somebody take the mic and let them go, on forever, right? We'll say you got 2 minutes and we'll time it, and you have a 2-minute statement, and we'll let people, we'll be a little bit flexible with it. But I think for us to really, because it could end up being a really nice crowd. People knowing it's a multi, purpose town hall with that they it's many different items that they could talk about, because we can talk judiciary, admin judiciary complex. Let's put that really way it should be: admin judiciary, not judiciary admin. It's admin judiciary. That's the way that should go, because it's 65-35 split. 65 admin, 35 judiciary. So we should line that up the way it should be lined up. And then I think we can talk about the Board of Education and their budget and spending. And something and I'm going to talk about this at the town hall, and I'll talk about this on the future shows. When people talk about 80% of the money, the taxes or whatever, that's not actually accurate, because when you look at the different sources of money that the county has, and then when you look at the host, which supplements property taxes, we're still paying taxes, guys. You're just prepaying it through the host. So I think we've got to understand. Yeah, I know what area, Charlotte, what she has, but I think there's some things with Deshaun that are behind the scenes. I found out some information about Deshaun yesterday that I'm going to be looking into. I think Deshaun may have a similar issue that Sherry has. That's all I'm going to say there. And I'm going to be looking into that starting tomorrow. And if so, I think it needs to be said, she's got this issue, and why does she have this issue? So, so there may be some things behind the scene that we need to go to see what's going on. Ben and Cheryl Garcia, great to have you there. Cheryl Garcia, I loved it yesterday when you were talking about the pie chart and you started talking about the calculations, and thank you guys also for keep digging into that and finding out from another source that the county did in fact provide, Richard Odin and Bob Nesbitt with that information, and they came up with their pie chart. Because I'm going to give those two guys credit for that, and especially, I think the former chairman, basically said, if you mention my name, I'm going to sue you. Hey, Richard Odom, go ahead and sue me. I mentioned your name. So, it's just funny that those things are occurring. This is a man who he gets up there and pretending that he's all concerned about 741, this and that. He's not concerned about anything but keeping things the way they are, and doesn't want you to have representation by districts or an expanded board. What his reasons are, one can only guess, but it's very apparent. They asked the question, well, what's changed? What's changed? I'm going to go somewhere right now. And I know exactly where these two guys are going, because they say, what's changed? Then they go demographics and they don't talk about it. Let's take the elephant out the room. They're talking about, before 2004, 2006, when Rockdale County was a majority Caucasian county, and now it's a majority African American county. That's what they're talking about. They don't want whites or other demographics to hold office in Rockdale County. They only want blacks to hold office in Rockdale County. You know what? I said it, and it is what it is. That's the truth. That's the out, because when they say the demographics, what's changed, let's just bring the elephant out. That's it. It's all about race for those two individuals. And if somebody just needs to say it and not be afraid, because it's the truth. You don't need to be afraid of the truth. Dr. Martin Luther King was not afraid to address race. And that's what Dr. King did. Dr. King addressed race. And there was nothing wrong with Dr. King addressing race, and there's nothing wrong with us addressing race now as an issue. And we have got to, as a society, get past these race issues. It's just point blank. We have got to get past these things. We have got to become a society of people who are judged on their actions and themselves, not skin color, and not background, but who you are as an individual. And I strongly believe that's what we need to do. We need to get past these our skin color. We have to get past it. And that's the reality of what's going on with those two individuals. Is they are protecting race-based politics. It's race-based politics, and I'll say it now, and I'll say it in a room, and I'll say it to their face. That's what they're doing. And it's a shame that they're doing it, and it's a shame that in 2023 that we have regressed back to this. At some point, I thought we were moving forward, but all we're doing is going backwards. And it's time for people to stand up and say, enough is enough. Let's elect someone on their merit. Let's elect someone because of their ideas and who they are and what they stand for. That's what I intend to do moving forward. I don't care if you're black, white, green, orange, or yellow. If you're a person with good ideas and principle, and I trust you, I am going to vote for you. I said it at 2 meetings yesterday. I was a former Democrat and I'm a former Republican. I will no longer be tied to political ideology, party ideology. I am going to vote for people for who they are and what they stand for. I am going to vote for Americans because I'm an American first. I believe in this country. I believe in the principles that it was founded on, and that's believing in individuals. That's what I believe. So let me get off that soapbox for a minute, go back to that meeting yesterday. I think there was progress made at that meeting yesterday. I think we can move forward and know that if we, as citizens of Rockdale County, decide that we want to elect the right people for office, then change can happen. So I want to talk a little bit about why I believe just expanding the Board of Commission will take care of the rest of the things we want to see. I believe if we expand the Board of Commission and limit the power of the chairman, And just to say, everybody in the room yesterday raised their hand and said they didn't think the chairman should actually run the day to day operations of the county. There was not a hand in the room that didn't raise at that time. So everybody was in agreement that we need to expand the board and that the chairman does not need to be the executive officer of the county, runs the day to day operations. That was something that everyone in the room agreed on. So let me just tell you, if we do this, if we expand the board of commission to 5 or 6, and I don't care if it is 6, expand it to 6 districts, and you keep the chairman for right now, fine with that. Because I think if you expand it to these districts, you expand that commission, I think you end up with a majority of commissioners who will send a resolution to the delegation saying, we want this change and this change and this change, because they will be representative of smaller districts. The voters are going to come to them. They're going to say, this is what we want. This is what we need. And that's what's going to happen. Right now, these at-large representatives are hiding behind the fact they don't actually represent anything specifically, and that they can dodge the citizens' desires because they're at large. At large representation is horrible. You don't, because people can skate by and they can play pushy on. Well, go talk to that one. Go talk to that one, and that's exactly what's going on. Doreen Carter said her constituents disagree, but where are any of those that sat there? And right, I mean, they've said, and I think that's the thing about Doreen Carter's position. I think Doreen Carter is beginning to see that there aren't these constituents that agree with what her opinion is. And maybe, Miss Carter is seeing that, somebody in Rockdale County may run against her. Now, let's just remember, the majority of what elects Doreen Carter is Rockdale County. So if Rockdale County turns on Doreen Carter is not going to get reelected. That's fact. You turn Doreen Carter and Newton County you turn Rockdale and Newton against Doreen Carter, she does not win election. And the reality of it is that seat, just like the seat that Rhonda Taylor holds, should be held by a Rockdale County citizen anyway, because the majority of the district is in Rockdale County. So a strong Democrat from Rockdale County should actually oppose Doreen Carter, because Rockdale County is not being represented properly by that delegation. We look at the Senate seat, Tanya Anderson's Senate seat. The majority of that Senate 17 is Rockdale County. Rockdale County should have someone from Rockdale County hold that Senate 17 seat. That's reality. But that's not me. I mean, that's the local Democrat Party's issue of not getting strong candidates to run and represent Rockdale County and win those seats. That's their job, not my job. I will recommend that's what you need to do, but I don't think they're worried about that. I really don't. We've got in Rhonda Taylor a seat that should be held by a Rockdale County resident, and it is. It is held by a Rockdale County resident. But guys, we've got to, as citizens of Rockdale County, we've got to expect more and demand more. I love it when we talked about the pie chart yesterday, and they called out the county provided the numbers for them to do the pie chart, and then tried to deny providing the numbers. And then when they got called in it, they eventually provided the data that, yeah, we provided the numbers. But it was the same thing of having to go back to the well and dig and dig and dig and make them give you the truth and not be misleading. And this is the same organization that time and time again complains that you, the citizen, that you and I are misleading people continuously, when in fact, it is the Board of Commission and the bureaucrats that work for them that are continuously putting out misleading information to the citizens of Rockdale County. It happens on a daily basis. And they do this for emotional reasons. And then they get up there and they talk about these emotional things that drive you to the ballot box to vote emotionally. And what do we on our side? We do a bad job of motivating you emotionally. We come out and we throw some numbers and some stats at you. And at the end of the day, numbers and stats don't motivate you. They might be accurate, they may prove our point, but they don't motivate you as voters to go vote. Emotion does. We have to do a better job of turning those facts, that data, into emotion. We have to do a better job of letting you know this county commission, this board of education, and this city government doesn't care about you. They care about themselves. Somebody else said it in the chat earlier. They care about power. It's all about power. It's not about you. We live in a country where we're supposed to have representative government. In representative government, that means that you're the boss, that you go to your officials and you tell them what you would like done on your behalf. That's the premises of representative government. But we've got a government that is just so twisted and upside down. The biggest example in Rockdale County is the Board of Education, where we have a superintendent who dictates to the board what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and how it's going to happen. And that's not the way that it's supposed to be. That's one of the reasons I decided to run for the Board of Education, so that I could put some normalcy back on that board and I could be a member that will stand strong and be your voice. I intend to have town halls to have you come and tell me, as your representative on that board, what you would like me to do. Lisa, I get it's not all the board, but it's the majority of the board. I've talked to Justin and we've talked about it. And there's not, the majority of the board is not that way. They let, as long as the majority will vote with the chair, the superintendent, and go along, then 2 or 3 members don't matter. You've got to have that 4 plus for people who want to, for the board to be the entity that directs the superintendent. And you've got to be cavalier enough to be able to do that. And then when you do have that 4-3 or 5-2 advantage, then you can't back down and cower down to pressures that you're going to get to rule as a board as you want to. Because let me tell you, I will be a very controversial member on the board, even if I'm on the majority and it's the minority majority, and you know what I mean. Even if it flips, I'm still going to be a cavalier individual on that board, because I'm not probably always going to go along with the things that those folks want to do, because I'm more interested in representing you, the citizen. This is the way I see this Board of Education. If the citizens are represented fairly, then the children will be represented fairly and the education system will be represented fairly. We've got to understand that we've got to go in and get a handle on that budget. We've got to get a handle on that Board of Education budget, and that may mean some cuts, because I think that the taxpayers deserve some cuts, some tax breaks. So I think the first thing we need to do is, where can we cut, and then and not just reallocate the cuts, but actually cut and give the taxpayers a tax break. That's what we need to do. And then we look in education. What do we, I mean, I'm going to tell you, to build a strong education and have someone in the workforce and have somebody who can succeed in society, I think there's some basic skills that they need to have from education. They need to be able to read very good. They need to have good reading comprehension, not just be able to parrot the words that they see, but they need to have good comprehensions of compounds. They need to know what sentences actually say. They need to know how to follow direction, and they need a good, solid, basic math foundation. If you have a good, solid math foundation, good reading comprehension, you can figure out almost anything. Guys, I'm a simple individual. A couple of years, 2 and a half years of college. I run a multi-million dollar business, and I taught myself most of the things that I do in this business because I have good reading comprehension skills and strong basic math skills. That's how I was able to teach myself these things and to be able to run a business. Uh, and I think if we would look at the children today, they need strong fundamentals. We need to focus on strong fundamentals. Strong fundamentals. That's what we need to do. And that's what I will push as a member of the Board of Education. I will push strong fundamentals, reading comprehension, strong basic math skills. That's what we need. We need those kids need to have those basics to be able to succeed in society today. If you have those basics, I guarantee you'll be able to make it today. You'll be able to succeed. Guys, I'm not giving up on Rockdale County. I believe Rockdale County has a bright future, but it's up to you and I to capture that future and take Rockdale County back from those who don't really care about our future. I talked to a lady yesterday, said when she moved to Rockdale County, that she loved the Mayberry atmosphere of Rockdale County. She's been here 30 some years. She loved the Mayberry atmosphere of Rockdale County. And what does the chairman continuously say? Well, it's not Mayberry anymore. Well, that's why people moved here. They moved here because they like that they love that atmosphere that Rockdale County once had. And we can, again, have that atmosphere. We can. We can have that. But it's up to us to take it back. It's up to you and me to decide, what do we want Rockdale County to look like? And at the town hall the Rockdale voter intends to have here in a few weeks, that's exactly what we want to know. What do you want Rockdale County to look like? What is your vision of Rockdale County? Aren't you tired of hearing what Terry Oates' vision of Rockdale County is? What Oz Nesbitt's vision of Rockdale County is? Sherry Washington's vision of Rockdale County? Doreen Williams' vision of Rockdale County? You don't even know what a vision of any board member of the Board of Education, because none of them have town halls and none of them meet with the public. And that's just fact. And I've had that discussion with some of the board members too. Nothing's stopping, because I would say, well, nobody comes to the meetings. Well, you don't go to the people. And that's all of them. And I've had that conversation with them, and even friends of mine that are on the board. You need to step out and have town halls. As a member of the board, I will have town halls. They try to hide behind this thing that you can't go out and have a meeting and represent the board. I'm not representing the board. I'll be representing Post 1. We'll be representing Post 1 Board of Education member, and I will be going to my constituents to find out what they want me to do as their Post 1 board member and how they want me to represent them on the Board of Education. There's nothing wrong with me doing that, and I will do that because this false thing that they put out there, you can't go out and represent the board. I'm not going out and representing the board. I'm going out, if elected, having town halls to represent the citizens of Rockdale County. And I would love to see one of our BOE members step out and have a town hall. Step out and have a town hall. Be brave. Be brave. Step out and have a town hall. That's what I think you should do. That's what I think you should do. Guys, it's not too late. But the time is coming near that if we don't do something, we'll be at the edge of a cliff and there will be no turning back. I think this is a pivotal year, a pivotal election year coming up in Rockdale County. I've got this feeling that every Board of Education member that is an incumbent is going to be opposed in this coming election. Your Board of Commissioners are going to be opposed. But besides opposing them, Let's defeat them. Let's elect challengers. Let's send a message. Enough is enough. Just because you've held that office for 2, 3 terms, don't mean it's yours for life. That office belongs to the citizen. It doesn't belong to you. So I'm asking you, take those offices back. Elect people different than are holding those offices now. Put different people in office. That's how you make change in Rockdale County. Let's push our legislators to do that expansion of the board. If we expand the board of commission, things will start happening in Rockdale County. I firmly believe that. Guys, I'm going to get off here this evening. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the effort a lot of you put in. I appreciate the words of encouragement that I get behind the scenes. I thank each and every one of you for joining me on this show each Sunday night and allowing me to come on here and just spout out things and say things, and some things people might not like and some people things they may like. Uh, Cheryl Molden, I'm gonna put this up. Okay. I hate to say we got nothing to lose. Reset Rockdale. Cheryl, you're 100% right. And I want to put this up too. I think this is important also. PFA meeting 9/13, 223. The first meeting of the PFA, I think they're going to swear themselves in and do all that nonsense. So yeah, that's right. So that's what I believe. So guys, thank you again. Thank you for attending the meetings that we have out here in public. Thank you for watching the show, and keep putting your voice out there. Keep putting your voice out there so people know, so our elected officials know you are listening and that you do intend to make a difference. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. And always be safe.